Hey, how are you? I'm SliceofOtaku, and with this video, we're going to be taking a look at the impact that magic has on the likes of both Mewmans and monsters, as well as the immense threat it may pose to both of them. Now, magic is the governing force of virtually everything across all known dimensions and the multiverse to varying degrees. With the absurd amount of uses it has for just about any and everything, it's made to be the manifestation of true power itself, easily making control of it one of the most desirable things in existence. The main dimension the show currently follows is that of Mewni, which is inhabited by the intellectual sentient life of either Mewman or monster. Mewmans referring to the human-looking beings of the Butterfly Kingdom or the Johansen Kingdom, whereas monster accounts for everything else. Although certain species of monster do escape this classification deemed by the Mewmans for reasons specific to each. And the reason the Mewmans are capable of essentially deciding the fate of all other sentient life in the dimension is because of magic. That's not to say that magic is exclusive to Mewmans, but rather they monopolize it. Like I said before, magic is power itself. They who possess the magic possess the world, allowing them to monopolize other desirable goods, such as corn. But how and why do the Mewmans have such access to this power? Well, it seems they're not indigenous to Mewni. When referencing the story of Mewndependence Day, it said that the wicked monsters rose up and attacked the innocent Mewmans to take back Mewni for themselves. And so with that, Mewni once belonged to the monsters until the Mewmans appeared and began their imperialism. And with the use of the Butterfly Queen's magic, there was the Great Monster Massacre. The Mewmans reaped and pillaged the lands these people had cultivated for generations, slaughtered them, pushed them to the outskirts, deprived them of proper resources, and yet still continued to shun them by means of discrimination and propaganda. And this is all thanks to the power of magic. So it certainly goes without saying that the Mewmans have absolutely no desire for the power of magic to fall into monster hands. Yet many monsters have attempted to seize this power in order to tip the scales and reign supreme, and so a Butterfly Queen would stand to be the countermeasure to this, as the queens before them had. But at a certain point, they're met by a peculiar case in the form of the lizard Toffee. As a Septarian incapable of being mortally wounded or destroyed, he managed to lead an army of monsters and even kill the pillar which had stood in the way of those who had failed before him, Queen Moon's late mother. And with that, he had set his sights on the kingdom itself, preparing his forces for attack. But it was when he was thwarted by Queen Moon that he realized the true threat: magic. To magic, his immortality meant nothing. Everything he had seized and worked up for until that point was all for naught when confronted by its awesome might. And so he sought to change that. He had extensively studied the butterfly family as well as the various applications of magic for decades, never making a stir after being defeated by Queen Moon. That was until the wand left her possession and was handed down to her heir, Star. And rather than seeking to wield said magic, which he could have easily done at various points, he sought to eradicate it entirely, presumably because he doesn't desire for monsters to be like the Mewmans or have the potential to lose said power at another point. And despite his reign over magic being ended and everything seemingly being returned to normal, the entirety of the realm is said to have been reborn, and the extent of which that implicates has yet to be completely assessed. But yeah, we have successfully established that Mewmans are not originally from Mewni, but the question remains, where are they from? Presumably, the source of magic itself. When Star visits the realm of magic and is urged by Marco to return home, in her dazed state, she corrects him saying that she is home. The power of magic is both hypnotic and consuming here. So much so that after only being there for what must have been a few minutes at most, she begins to forget who she is, which is rather familiar. This is something we have seen before in the case of Glossaric. When the book of spells he resided in was destroyed, Glossaric was sent to the realm of magic, alluding to this place being his origin, which is logical considering he created the Magic High Commission and specifically Hekapu, so that the Mewmans would be able to access and explore other dimensions, meaning this capability did not exist before her. Mentally, Glossaryck was just fine when Toffee was in control, as it seems the mind-altering aspect was not there. But when Star purified the realm, the mind-altering began. Now, considering it has been established that Glossaryck had been recovered roughly 2 months after being subjected to this mental wipe, it certainly makes sense that all he's capable of saying now is the strange phrase, Globgore. I mean, if Star began to forget her name, one of the first things a person learns to recognize after only being there for a few minutes, it makes sense that Glossaryck, this highly knowledgeable being who has existed for millennia, would be reduced to a single word after 2 months. And just to share my personal headcanon, I believe that Glossaryck may have been holding on to one important warning that slowly but surely waned over time until it was reduced to what we now have as Globgore. Glossaryck created each member of the Magic High Commission, each with a specific purpose of tutelage. Because whereas he would teach each butterfly princess set to inherit the throne, his children would teach Mewmans as a whole. Lekmit to teach them the importance of life. Omni to depict the delicacy of space-time and the multiverse. Hekapu, as we stated before, and Rhombulus, his least favorite, was intended to be the muscle behind them. Which are all things you'd only need to teach a species that didn't know any better and would lack such exposure, especially exposure to life. All of this information is contained within the book Star and Marco's Guide to Mastering Every Dimension, by the way. And maybe you're wondering how Glossaryck could originate from this place, yet be harmed or altered by it. Well, once again remember that the realm of magic has been reborn due to the impact of Toffee and Star. Also, considering Star created the Firstborn, I wouldn't be surprised if Glossaryck were the creation of the first Butterfly Queen, which is why he's followed them throughout the ages. And with that being said, it's hard for me not to feel uneasy about the Firstborn, Star's creation. In the episode Red Belt, Marco has a premonition, which depicts important events to come, and in the very beginning of it, he sees a deranged animalistic Star who makes a certain noise, very much akin to that of the Firstborn's cry. And she even goes as far as to gallop away on all fours, sounding as if there are hooves hitting the ground. For now, the Firstborn hasn't really posed a serious threat, but I do think that we should certainly be weary of it in the future. But yeah, when Queen Moon is reduced to half a soul by Meteora while in butterfly mode, she immediately flees to what she instinctually perceives to be safety, opening a portal to the realm of magic. And to make sense of that, the term soul eating in the case of Star Versus is the deprivation and or assimilation of one's magical essence. As far as we can tell, based on this, magic is present in all sentient life, and when it is taken away or stolen, they presume this blackened-eyed, floaty appearance. Queen Moon managed to not be completely deprived here, but maybe that's not necessarily a good thing. In such a damaged state, Queen Moon will be all the more susceptible to the dangers of the realm of magic, so I'm not exactly expecting her to return at full capacity for quite some time. And now that I think about it, after seeing the physical manifestation of magic, I think I'm now able to understand the Mewman cultural obsession with corn. Both have a very similar golden appearance, and it's made clear that the Mewmans have admired corn since their initial settlement on Mewni, likely because of how familiar it is. And just like magic, corn has an absurd number of applications. Corn is one of the easiest foods to mass produce and has 1,000,001 uses. And corn is infused in a multitude of products that we all use on a regular basis, believe it or not. And so it's a rather amazing mirror to magic. And funny enough, is yet another thing that the Mewmans refuse to share with the likes of monsters. Guys, what do you think about all this? Do you agree that the Mewmans originated from the realm of magic? And how do you feel about the Firstborn? I mean, come on, the whole no pupil thing, it's freaky, right? If anything, it looks like the inverse of soul deprivation, as its eyes are completely white instead of being blacked out. Please leave me all your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching and have an awesome day. I love you.